Ladies and gentlemen, there is no time for introductions for this video, for there are many fish to be caught, so please grab your rod, grab your bait, and allow me to teach you all about fishing in Red Dead Redemption 2. Welcome to the Advanced Fishing Guide. Now you must have many questions. First of all, why on earth would I need an advanced guide on catching a fish in a video game? A good question, and one I am afraid I do not have the answer for. But there are things to learn. Things that no one at Rockstar cared to explain. And this game is actually full of those things. Also, there is quite a big warning in this video. A thing that happened to me which made it so that I can't complete the legendary fishing quest for now until it gets patched. I'll be covering that later in the video. So without further ado, let's go fishing. Fishing is a gentleman's sport. A sport which requires great patience. It's a sport that is relaxing and good for the mind. But in Red Dead Redemption, it can become infuriating and will leave you with an uncraveable lust for blood and gore. Fish that don't spawn in, fish that won't bite, fish that swim off further and further until they are uncatchable and your line breaks. Yes, heart-wrenching stuff. So let's cover this all and allow me to make your life a little bit easier. We shall begin at the start with bait. Now you're probably wondering, what kind of bait do I have to use? So you have baits and you have lures. The baits are often used for smaller and medium-sized fish, and the lures are used for bigger sized fish. Now all baits are pretty self-explanatory. Every different regular bait like bread, corn and cheese are used for different fish species. So if you want to check out the different fish species in a lake, river or swamp, you can switch up the different baits so you can catch everything that is in the said lake, swamp or river. Then you also have crickets, worms or crayfish as bait. These are used for medium-sized fish in lakes, rivers and swamps. Now to answer a quick question, how the hell do I know what a lake, river or swamp is? Well, as soon as you pull out your rod, giggity, you look at the top of your screen and you will see what kind of water it is. Also, a real life lesson here. A river always has moving water, a lake has still water, and a swamp is full of alligators and other dirty shit. Now let's talk about lures. I don't know how to pronounce that shit, so go easy on me, comments. Lures are basically permanent solutions for the bigger sized fish and legendary fish. You have three kinds of different basic lures which can be obtained from the bait shop in the swamp. So if you want to catch all the basic fish, you'd need to visit that place. You can do that from chapter 2 on out. The regular bait you can just buy from any general store. As a quick reminder, fishing can be used to work towards the 100% completion, but you could theoretically just go for the legendary fish and complete that. For all other purposes, fishing is fun and probably a somewhat relaxing thing to do, but combining prime meat with thyme, oregano or mint, and I don't care how to pronounce that, is way more effective to cook. Now let's move on to the legendary fish and how to catch fish in general. So in order to start your quest for legendary fish, you have to meet with Mr. Gill, who can be found at Gill Landing just west of Rhodes. Follow the shoreline on the west coast of Rhodes north and you will find his little cabin. He will set you up with a map where you can find these legendary fish, but I will actually include a far more handier map in the description down below that will set you up for all your legendary fishing needs. After you've accepted your quest, travel back to the bait shop in the swamp area and buy 3 special lures, one for lake, one for swamp and one for river fish. That's all you need to start hunting for these legendary monsters. Now these bastards will put up a great fight, and if you don't use the right technique, you will be spending a good 5 to 10 minutes absolutely destroying your right thumb. So here's the deal. These legendary fish really want that special lure. So the best thing to do is cast out pretty far to catch the fish's attention and start reeling it towards you. The fish will be crazed for that lure and will dive after it at near enough the speed of light. When the lure is pretty close to you or the fish is pretty close to the lure, you start reeling very slowly. That will make the fish bite instead of scaring him off. And when he bites, either press RT or for full fishing immersion, yank the right analog stick down to hook the fish. And then the fight of the ages begins. Now the first thing you gotta do when you hook the timidest beastie, you press the right analog stick. That way you prevent your line from winding down and having the fish move further away from you. Yes, Rockstar, that would have been great to know. All you need to do then is make sure that the fish pretty much stays in front of you. Pull the fish in the opposite direction of which it is trying to travel to. So if it goes left, you and the rod go right. If it goes left, you go right. If it goes right, you go left. At some point, the fish will get tired and then you have to reel him in. So the technique is pretty easy. You yank the stick down, which makes your rod go up, giggity, and you start reeling in at the same time. Now this, when you do it the first time, is pretty awkward. It's actually awkward as fuck. My brain still short circuits when I try to do these two things at the same time. But regardless, at some point you will get somewhat used to it. After that, it is a matter of rinse and repeat. The fish struggles, you press the right analog stick to make it stop moving and hold it in place with your fishing rod and then reel and yank it towards you. After you've reeled it in, you bring the fish to the post office and he will send it over to Mr. Gill. Now, in order to complete this quest, you must have finished chapter 6, for a bunch of these fish are available in New Austin, which opens up after all is said and done in the main story. Now, for the warning I told you about earlier, never ever lose the fish on your way back to the post office. What basically happens is that you have to catch the fish again, so when you lose it, it'll just spawn back in the pond. But if you are unlucky, the fish and the quest might actually bug out and will never spawn in the pool again. This happened to me for the fish way up north. No matter what I did, what I tried, the fish never got back to me on the pond on my second playthrough. Well, moving on. After you brought the enormous fish to the post office, they put it in a massive envelope and send it over to Mr. Gill, where he will do unspeakable things with it, and after delivering all the legendary fish, you will be rewarded with a very, very funny bonus scene with Mr. Gill himself. But I'm not going to spoil that for you. I really recommend doing all that stuff for yourself, and it is definitely needed if you want that 100% completion. So what do you think of fishing in Red Dead 2? Do you enjoy it, or would you rather blow off your own head with a sawn-off shotgun? Do let me know in the comments down below if you enjoyed. Leave a like and I will see you in the next one, okay? Peace out. Bye.